All right. So in order to get started with upskilling, it's easy to say, oh, I need to build my skills, right? But then it's kind of like, where do I start? So we do have some ideas for you in terms of where to start, which includes really assessing your skills and doing some assessments. So if you have been to other FlexJobs webinars before or previously, you know that we do talk about the importance of taking some time for self-discovery in your job search. And that's really the same for this part of your job search too, for upskilling. And what that means is doing some self-assessment and skills assessments. So I know this is a little bit of a tongue twister, but for self-assessments, one of the things that we recommend is thinking about your interests, your values, and your strengths. And really, we mostly live our life, hopefully, by our values. We get to do things that we're interested in and we know what our strengths are, but it's really important and critical to actually take some time to write these things down or type them out if you're using your computer. So you have a list of each of these things so you can be really mindful about your process here. Another thing that you want to do is ask yourself and then answer this question. Where do you find motivation? What motivates you? Thinking about what is it you are doing when you are in the flow of something and you don't want to stop. Write those down too. I don't think we spend enough time, really being mindful and aware and present in those things that we're interested in, what our values are, the types of things that we're doing when we're really motivated. So I encourage you to allow yourself to take the time to do that. I think sometimes we gloss over this because it feels like it's not moving us in a forward direction, but it actually really is. And it's giving us some focus and some clarity, which can make all things that we're doing in life, of course, but in regard to a job search and upskilling, more effective. Also, you want to think about the existing skill set that you have. Do you consistently edit materials? Are you somebody who proofreads a lot at work? Are you somebody who is responsible for coordinating projects? Do you spend time negotiating or working through conflict? So really dive into your day-to-day tasks and your work that you do, and try to summarize some of those skills that are needed for the role. Then what you want to do is think about what you are trying to accomplish by getting another job. What skills do you know are required for that role? So when you complete these steps, it's really the building block to helping you determine and prioritize what skills you should consider for skill building or upskilling. All right, so next, you'll want to test these skills in a sense. So the previous slide, after going through those exercises, you should have a page of paper or a document on your computer with all of this information written down. And then you want to exercise or use some of the skills assessments. And there are a number of ways you can do that in different resources out there. And I will just caveat this is while you don't want to fall into a trap of doing dozens and dozens of skills assessments and counting that as activity in your job search, it does make sense to do some skills assessments. So this is why that initial list is important so that you can prioritize and work from the list you created to see which skills, which items you've identified make the most sense to do. And that probably starts with looking at the role you are aiming for and what skills are required there. And then you can use resources like FlexJobs. If you're a FlexJobs member, there are over 100 skills assessments on FlexJobs. LinkedIn also has assessments, as does Career One Stop, and others also. You can find other resources for skills assessments as well. These are just the top 3 I wanted to share. The other piece of the assessment is more self-reflection. So you did some self-assessment, and now we'll talk about self-reflection. And again, it is diving into some key questions like, when do you feel most confident? So similar to what are you doing when you're in the flow and you don't want to stop, which is a sign of motivation. You also want to think about, what is it that other people tell you you are good at? Very often working with clients and job seekers through FlexJobs, we often hear people say, well, somebody told me once I should be doing this, or this is something that somebody told me to look into. So other people recognize in you some skills and sometimes verbalize those or point those out to you. So if that's happened to you, you want to take note of that as well. And if it's not, you can certainly ask people within your network, personal, even professional, to get some clarity on this question too. All right. So when you've done the assessment piece of it, this is the first step to identifying what you want to do to execute some skill building to enhance your job search and your career. The next piece of it is taking note of different industry trends, because you want to make sure that whatever you're choosing to do is going to be fruitful, not only for you, but also for where you're aiming to get to. So think about the industry that you are working toward, and do a little bit of research to determine if there are specific skills that will make you a more competitive job candidate. Also, think about this, which the answer is likely yes. I would venture a bet. Are there new or emerging technologies in this industry that would be helpful to know, or at least familiarize yourself with? And if you are targeting certain employers, and we recommend that, does the certain employer look for specific skills for their employees, or do they have their own specific skills to the role you are looking for? You want to also try to determine as much as you can about the demand for the role you are seeking. What are the job prospects like now? Can you figure out what the job prospects are estimated to be in the future? As you work through this exercise, when you're finished, you can take a look at the data you've gathered and see if anything you are finding complements or resonates with your career goals. So, that's all good and fine to know that that's the process that you go through. But I really wanted to, in this webinar, work through a real example of this with everybody. So let's consider project management as an example. So if you're somebody, or for somebody that wants to do project management, a lot of this information that I discussed on the last slide can be researched on Google. You can look on LinkedIn. You can direct yourself to company websites and even lean into ChatGPT. So for this example, I started and I asked ChatGPT if there were specific skills that are important to have for project management jobs. This confirmed what I had been thinking would be important skills, knowing a little bit about project management. Skills like leadership, negotiation, conflict management are helpful, as well as some specific hard skills like Agile, Scrum, and Kanban, if I'm saying that correctly. There are some technologies that are often found in project management job postings like Tableau, Power BI, and change management is important too. So really developing a balance between technical expertise and some of these other competencies will contribute to a successful project manager. So now you have your beginning list from your self-assessments and your skills assessments. And now we've identified specifically to where somebody wants to go, project management in this example, some key specific skills that might be really great to know and to understand to be a competitive applicant. All right, so we have that. Now, what about those project management industry trends, as that's the second step, looking at industry trends. So I did lean into ChatGPT for this one as well and asked, what are new trends in the project management industry I should be aware of as a job seeker? So if you were to transition into project management, or you are looking to transition into project management, you really want to know the key things you need to know and to be aware of to make sure you're on the right track as a candidate, and that it is something that you would be able to map out and plan in terms of upskilling. So I found things like agile and hybrid approaches are important in project management right now, which makes sense, right? Data is driving decisions. Of course, AI like ChatGPT, and there are so many other AI powered tools and trends, but that is impacting the industry. Automation and certifications are available in project management. And it seems as though those certifications can give a competitive edge to people who are interested in doing this type of work. So let's think about the demand. According to the Department of Bureau of Labor and Statistics, there will be about 70,000 project management jobs per year over the next 10 years. So it's a growing field. And according to the Project Management Institute, millions of project managers will be needed by 2027. So we've looked at industry trends in project management. We've studied and identified specific skills, and now we know that there is a high demand for this type of job. So if this is something that you are interested in, it's time to ask yourself at this point in the process if any of this information resonates, or with the information that you found, has it persuaded you to go in a different direction? And that's okay too. And that's why the self-assessment and all of this work is necessary to make sure you are moving in the right direction. So is it resonating? Okay, now I want to do another example because I think it's good to look at multiple examples. I think sometimes hearing the information is one thing, but actually going through the process and figuring out, and seeing some examples can help you really facilitate this on the backside of the webinar to get started. So let's look at an industry versus a specific job title, because you can also look into a specific industry. We've worked with people before that might want to stay doing the same type of work that they're doing, but they might want to jump into a different industry. So I selected the insurance industry because there are so many facets to this industry. There's sales, there's insurance compliance, there's of course risk management, and so many other things. So you want to start by doing some research and determining what the best part of the insurance industry would be for you. So some key skills in general for the insurance industry are problem solving, risk mitigation, and regulatory requirements. So if you are thinking of going into this industry, those are some things that you want to make sure that you are strong in to be a competitive applicant, as well as many of the roles in the insurance industry might require certifications or licenses. Other trends, again, I leaned into ChatGPT for help here, but some industry trends that I uncovered in the insurance industry, according to research, are things like growth in cybersecurity and data protection. Again, that makes sense when you see it, right? Digital transformation, predictive modeling. Again, this makes sense. I think in general, with AI-powered tools sort of bursting on the scene over the last several months, this is something that likely will impact many different industries in different ways. Of course, compliance, which I mentioned, and there are some emerging business opportunities in insurance in the health and wellness space. So that might be something that is intriguing to you. It might be a trend that you would like to research a little bit more if you were interested in the insurance industry. So this is all information gathering to help you then consider and determine what upskilling activities you will end up choosing. Okay, so let's think about demand. We've looked at the industry trends in the insurance industry. We've talked about the specific skills. Now, The demand, it looks like one thing to know about insurance is during a recession, it's typically a safe industry. Everybody continues to need insurance. There's been growth since the pandemic, since 2020. Different parts of the industry have grown differently. So sales agents, it looks like insurance sales is going to continue to grow by about 10% by 2028. And the industry is evolving with technology and automation tools. And so these are some things that are helpful to know. And I think as you go through this process now, the final step is asking, does this resonate with you? Are you more excited, or do you want to go in a different direction? So we recommend working through this exercise or this process as a basis for determining what skills you are going to use or identify to build your skill toolkit. Once you do this, you set some goals. Everybody has likely heard of SMART goals, which, just to quickly reiterate, they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and there's a time frame connected to them. So what are your career objectives in making this change or this adjustment? And is this in alignment with what the market is demanding for the particular area you're looking into? And you can find out more information about this. Obviously, research, right? You can research and use the internet to come up with a lot of the research, but doing some informational interviews and building your network with people in this space also is a very valuable exercise. Okay, so let's go ahead and start executing and start learning. So what do you want to do here? All right, so here we go, the what and the where, right? Prioritizing what you want to do is important. So since you've completed the exercises that we've outlined earlier, you've gone through all that process, what did you uncover that is most aligned and desired for you based on that information? Once you've identified that, what you want to do is research what's out there to get this skill in your tool belt. So research courses, different certifications, and workshops. You want to make sure you're finding something that's reputable. Cost might be involved with some of these things, with some of these courses or certifications. So you want to have a path to identify those things. And if you do start a certification program, you want to figure out what is the placement program like, or what are the resources provided to you to help you find employment after you complete the program. These things are important to know. So of course, using the internet, right? But if you are considering a certification course through an organization, certainly I would be at a minimum looking at LinkedIn to seeing if they have a group on LinkedIn with people who are involved or enrolled in that same certification. That certification program may have its own LinkedIn page. You can look at to see if there are job boards, or to maybe even reach out to somebody who went through the program to do somewhat of an informational interview about the certification to make sure that it made sense. So you're still here gathering information and figuring out a list of ideas for what you can do to build these skills, and then you will prioritize those and then start completing those classes or certifications or workshops. And when you do that, you're going to want to showcase your new skills on your job applications, right? Because that's the whole point, is to make yourself a more competitive applicant. But in order to actually do that, you have to show what you've done. So as you're working through these new skills, this new course or workshop, whatever it is you decide to do, here's an example of what you should include on your resume. I've included here a sample summary section and a sample core competency section for a career change to project management. So if we're going back to our project management example, and I'm just going to read the summary section. Innovative, technical, and business leader with 5+ years overall IT experience, including project management and SAP IT consulting for multinational corporations. skillfully applies cross-industry experience to manage challenging projects, proficient in SAP project delivery with deep understanding of processes and teams that provide SAP production support, develops high-performing cohesive teams across geographies by establishing integrity, trust, transparency, and accountability, experience with remote and on-site projects with extensive geographical experience in Canada, the US, Mexico, Europe, and Australia, recent completion of Certified Associate in Project Management, CAPM training. All right, so you mentioned the certification, you mentioned some specifics that are involved with project management. Further, in the section where it's delineated project management, ERP, SAP, IT consulting, here are some key skills that were brought up: Six Sigma, project program management, risk management, process improvement, benefits realization, capacity planning, also training, communication, root cause analysis. Then, if you look at the core competencies, you'll see even more of the key skills that were uncovered as part of the research, as this person does have them. So problem solving, agile and scrum methodologies, multitasking, time management, assessment and testing, and problem solving, which I might have said that already. At any rate, you want to be able to showcase the skills that you have learned by weaving them into the content on your resume and cover letter. All right, but that's just part of it, right? We also have an interview that you would be doing, and you want to make sure that you are enthusiastic and positive in your job interview. You want to incorporate the new skills you learned, and you want to identify and highlight the transferable skills that you do have. You might say something like, if you're asked why you want to transition into a particular field, in this case, it's project management, you might say, I'm really excited about the opportunity to transition into project management. I'm looking forward to combining my passion for driving results, collaborating with cross-functional teams, and delivering value to clients. I believe my skills and experiences make me well suited for this role. During my transition, or during this transition, I've been proactive in acquiring relevant knowledge and skills that are needed to successfully perform this role. I have completed comprehensive agile training. I have a deep understanding of Scrum methodologies, and I have a solid understanding of Tableau, which enables me to analyze project data and make data-driven decisions. So here you're pulling in some of the key skills, hard skills that are required for the job. You might also say something like, I've enjoyed enhancing my leadership and negotiation skills, which only helps with collaboration with team members and stakeholders to work through the challenging issues that come up to end on a desirable project outcome. All right, so it's okay and warranted and welcome to talk about the skills that you have built and have been sort of encompassing into your skill tool belt, so to speak, as part of a way to make a transition into this role. The other thing that you can do is use this new skills that you've acquired in your job search. So in other words, there's no need to only search job titles like project management all of the time. You also can search by these specific skills. So in this particular search that you see on your screen, I use the search term agile methodologies plus negotiation. Two key skills that were uncovered in our research that we decided hypothetically that we were going to upskill and work on. So as I typed this in and looked for remote jobs that require both agile methodologies and negotiation, as mentioned in the job posting, here is a snapshot of the results. There were 13 jobs, is a very specific list, which is fine for these purposes. You can see there's a job title of project manager. There is a job title of client partner and senior product manager. And so it's not just the job title project manager that you want to be leaning into. You want to use some of these key skills to really inform and expand your job search as you are making this transition. And so that is part of what I wanted to show you here in terms of really leaning into some of those new skills that you have moving forward. All right. So when you decide to make a commitment to upskill, you really are setting yourself up not only for success in your current job search and your current situation, but also for many future opportunities. And so when you work through these exercises and gain these new skills, you are really growing things like your transferable skills. So you're adding to that list. You're also making yourself more valuable to your current employer as well as future employers, which will, of course, allow you to be open for new opportunities. And finally, this exercise and actually going through and executing some skill building work will help you discover new passions, right? It might help you uncover things that you never knew you were capable or wanted to do, but you're really excited about what the future has in store for you based on this information and this process. And of course, meeting new people through the exercises. If you pursue a certification, if you're doing some informational interviews or finding new companies that you're interested in connecting with. So you're really helping yourself not only for the immediate, present, and future, but also down the line as you continue to grow in your career. So what we want you to do next is really to kind of dive into your skill set. What is it that you need to do or want to do going forward based on your current skill set? So that's the starting point. But then you also need to look into the industry and understand where it's headed to the degree possible, right? Because we don't have a crystal ball, but you can, to the degree possible, really kind of see what is in store for a specific industry and a specific job category within that industry. So that research is really important. You do want to set some goals in order to make some decisions and prioritize what you want to do for upskilling. And then, of course, let's go ahead and execute and start getting to work. All right. So hopefully this information was helpful. I'm excited to get to the questions here in a second. Again, as a reminder, we will send a copy of this recording. If you would like to grab the resources right now, go ahead and click on the resources tab and you can open those and you'll have those going forward right after this ends. If you have any other needs for your job search, of course, we have more events coming up, but also the FlexJobs blog is a really great place to go for that. So don't forget about the blog with thousands of articles that cover any topic of your job search. So without further discussion or further ado, I guess, as they say, let's go ahead and see what questions we have. All right. Thanks, everybody, for your questions. We have some that have come in. First, what if I need a certification, but it costs a lot of money? Are there resources to help you pay for the certification classes and exam? There could be, and I would explore the program that is sponsoring or putting on the certification. And those are really great questions to ask those folks. Maybe they have sort of like an admissions component to it, and you can talk to them about that. I think part of the discovery process of this, which we talked about earlier too, is, do you need a certification or workshopping or, additional coursework to be able to make this transition? Or is this something that is necessary for the next jobs that you want to do? And if you find out information about how much a certification costs and if all of the programs cost money, that final question that you ask yourself after you go through the process, is this resonating with you? Is this still something that you want to do? And is it feasible to be able to do? And so sometimes, cost is an issue for a lot of us. And it might be that, well, this is maybe something I want to get to eventually, but right now I need to do something else so that I can save money to get this certification or identify resources to help cover those things. So those are some additional questions that you can do. There's not a set resource like a website or a handout or anything that breaks down the cost of certifications and if there is help to pay for those. I would imagine, depending on the type of money that you're talking about, some people or some of those organizations might offer payment plans. And or scholarships even, so that it definitely is something that you should research a little bit more to find out in your specific area of interest. How about when you want to have a complete different job from what you are doing daily? Yeah, this is the right webinar to be at. So you can figure out some strategies and ideas on how to sort of build the skills that you need to be a more competitive applicant. And then an extension of that would be, maybe, do you need to volunteer? Do you need to find an organization? Volunteering is one way that's sounds easier, or is an easy answer to a question like this. Or maybe there's an internship that you would be able to aim towards. Maybe you could do some freelance or contract work. Those are the types of things that you want to have as part of your plan as well. Okay, I answered this one. Hopefully I didn't just, oh, okay, that one was there twice. All right, back to the questions. Some companies do not hire in some locations, albeit remote, like Kenya, where I am. How do we tell them apart when we are using the FlexJobs site? Great question. When you use the FlexJobs site and you're searching for jobs, I would use your location so that you can find jobs that are available to you in Kenya, or you can select the filter that says search jobs available for anybody anywhere in the world, and that will give you jobs that are available to you if they aren't specifically in Kenya. Is there a cost to use LinkedIn with the various things that the webinars suggest us to do? Example, taking assessments, contacting people and companies, etc. No, actually, the skills assessments that are on LinkedIn are free. To my knowledge, I don't think they have any premium skills assessments, although that could be a model that they're working on eventually. They do change things a lot. And contacting people in companies, you should be able to do that with a regular LinkedIn account. I do believe there is a limit of how many people you can contact with or connect with every day, but it's generally much higher than what we would do. It's really to sort of eliminate bots and people just mass connecting with thousands, hundreds and thousands of people in a day. But these strategies you should be able to use with the regular LinkedIn account. Um, I'm not sure. Please also cover areas like remote US tax accounting. Uh, we're not US tax experts or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's the type of job that you are looking for, but that would be some search terms that you would be able to type in there. And also, if it was something that you were looking to upskill to do, you could figure out using Chat GPT or other research what skills you might need to do that. What is digital transformation? Digital transformation is really just sort of it's hard to really wrap our mind around, right? But things like AI, these Chat GPT, bar, different AI tools that are coming about, these are technologies that are really transforming how we do work digitally, right? Because it's all about the technology. So the insurance industry is going to go through a lot of digital transformation, likely because many insurance industries up until probably recently were paper filing systems and things like that. So digital transformation is transforming all of those files, for example, into a digital medium. Hi. Hi. Finding that my target job requires a more junior level position to achieve. For example, need to become a business analyst before I can become a product owner. Is it realistic to target the next level up? Targeted job? Thanks. So, again, this would be a really great question to ask somebody who is doing the role of a business analyst. And also, as you are doing your research, figuring out what is the market like for business analysts, What is the growth like? And then you could also layer in product owner information so you could really have a good sense of where things are. It could be that you find information that says there are not enough product owners to become business analysts over the next 4 years. And so that might give you an entryway into a role as a business analyst without having been a product owner. Some of the things that I would do in addition to talking to people in the business analyst role is I would look for companies or the type of business you would like to work for and start building relationships and targeting companies that you're interested in, building relationships with people at those companies, making it known that that's your ultimate goal. Can I use my FlexJobs profile to stand out to employers when most job posts go directly to job post on their own company website? So the answer to this is yes, and you are absolutely right. Most job applications on any job board, on FlexJobs and other job boards, will go to the company website to apply. Now on LinkedIn, there's an easy apply button. That's a different topic for a different day. But yes, you want to complete your profile on FlexJobs. You want to add your key skills. You want to upload your resume. You can do that with your, linking in your LinkedIn profile. It will pull from your LinkedIn profile and populate on your FlexJobs profile. And you want to have an interesting profile title that is, something that is catchy in terms of appropriate for the skills and the type of work that you're looking for, so that when employers are reviewing FlexJobs members to find candidates, you stand out. I will tell you that employers across the board are likely not doing as much proactive reaching out as they used to, because the number of applicants that are coming in for each posted job is so much higher, that they have a very big applicant pool just from the applications that come in. So you don't only want to set up your profiles to wait for employers to reach out to you and to be reactive. You still want to be very proactive in applying for jobs. Oops. Do you have really easy, specific resources for content creation and AI use in the FlexJobs website? I don't know that we have anything specific to content creation, but there are some articles on the blog on AI and ChatGPT. I also encourage you, we had this yesterday. This is on our website in past webinars. We did a webinar yesterday about ChatGPT and using it. And it's really the basics on how it can help you in your job search and other areas. So those are some resources that I would direct you to help you grow in your skills with AI and ChatGPT. I saw that the plus sign was used to include more than one phrase in a search on LinkedIn. Does the sign work the same, and where can we find resources that list these options? So yes, so this is a feature of a Boolean search. So on many websites, if you're looking, let's say you're looking for a job that requires public speaking and project management. So you could type public speaking plus project management and the FlexJob site, and you would find jobs that had both of those or those four words in the job postings or job title. On the FlexJob site, when you are doing this, there is a question mark or a little icon that you can click that will give you a key of all of the different symbols that you can use as part of your Boolean search to enhance and make your job search results laser focused. Most other websites, particularly Google, I know you can use words like or, and you can use plus. If you use a dash, it's like a minus. It removes words from what you're searching for. So those are some things that you can do to make your searches for information more laser focused. How often are Africans in Africa lucky to find remote jobs abroad from FlexJobs? I'm not sure. We don't have specific data on that. Unfortunately, we don't. When people find jobs with FlexJobs, sometimes they don't tell us. They just get right to work. But I will say that most remote jobs, 95% of remote jobs, have a location requirement. This is because companies have to adhere to tax rules, employment laws in various states, countries, and continents. And so not all employers are set up to be able to hire somebody from anywhere in the world all of the time. That's why using some of those filters on the FlexJob site can be really beneficial, so that when you are searching for jobs, you use the filter to make sure that the job is available to you wherever it is that you live. FlexJobs has a mix of jobs from all over the world. The majority of them, yes, it's true, are in North America, but there are jobs that encompass, I don't know the total number of countries, but certainly on the continent of Africa, South America, Europe, and Asia, as well as North America, they are all there. So keep, looking and, reaching out. The other thing that you can do is you can find companies. We do have some resources on the website about this as well. Companies that hire from anywhere in the world, or companies where you can work from anywhere is a better way to say that. And that can give you a targeted company list to see what jobs they specifically have available, to see if it fits with anybody in, or any of the skill sets that you have, and if any of those jobs would be available to you.